Hey kids, and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about friendships and the friendships that we should nourish and the friendships that we should push away because they're not really friendships to begin with. All right, so there's two basic types of friendships I'm going to be talking about today. One of those is the friendships that we grew up with, our classmates, our friends, the people we physically touch. And then the second one, as you probably have already guessed because I said physical touch, is the friends that we've made on social media. Social media has a definite important place in our life, and the friendships that we gain there can be amazing. Now, how do we determine who we nurture and who we remove? Well, you would think it would be the easy thing to do, but it's not, because people want friendships. They want to be liked. And most people think the more people that like them, the better person they are. And that's just not true. You really only need a couple good friends in your life. 1, 2, maybe 3. And that's it. And you need to be a good friend. But you definitely need a lot of regular friends in your life. And those are the people that will keep you maybe grounded if you don't choose your close friends well enough. So, all right, so let's start with physical relationships. What are you giving in a relationship? That's the first thing you should always ask yourself. So, don't ask yourself what another person is giving you. Ask yourself what you're giving them, because that is going to determine whether or not you should nurture that relationship or you should remove it. It's as simple as this. I put X into this relationship, into our friendship. I do this, and I do this. Great. Now, step back and say, what does that person put into our relationship? And you're going to list some things that they give to the relationship. And you're going to say, they do this, this, and this. And most of the time, in a good friendship, those aren't the same. You may be giving someone an ear to vent, but you're giving that person a place to vent. So you are providing two different things to each other in that relationship. So make sure that there's a good balance there. And I mean, everything's about money, right? Or value. I like to say value more than money, because money is just blah. Value is important. So how much do you value what you're putting into that relationship? And it's really easy to decide, is what I'm putting into this relationship worth what I'm getting from this relationship? Now, that doesn't have to be a 50-50 split. It just needs to be worth it. Sometimes you work really hard for something you really want, and it's okay if you don't get the whole thing. So you work really hard and you want the thing that you want. And sometimes that's awesome. Sometimes you get exactly what you want, but sometimes you have to make a small compromise. And that's just what happens. Is that compromise worth it? Is it worth compromising a less expensive pair of headphones for a more expensive microphone? Yeah, it's worth it to me. I had a limited amount of resources, so I decided to spend more money on a microphone than headphones. That was my choice. It's like that in relationships. You have a limited amount of resources. You have a limited amount of time. So if one friend is taking up 90% of your time, then you have to ask yourself, do I want to get this friend out of my life, or do I just want to limit the time that we're together? That's a hard thing to say, especially when it's somebody you really like spending time with. So here is the danger. Sometimes they want the same thing. They want less time, but they think that you want more time. So you get into this weird cycle. I was working with a veteran friend of mine, and we were just working one day. So we're just there, I'm working with this guy, we're shoveling sand, we're just doing work. And at the end of the day, we were just dead tired. And as we were talking, we ended up telling each other, well, I wasn't going to be the first one to quit. Well, I wasn't going to be the first one to quit. And so because I was pushing myself and he was pushing himself. We ended up pushing each other. And that's what a friendship is supposed to be. But a good friendship will know that, hey, we're going to hurt ourselves. So we need to back off and say, hey, wait, we don't need to be doing all this. Let's just hang out. So you have to decide whether or not your time, and I'm sorry, I'm doing really big hand motions today because this fly is really wanting to mess with me today. That's why you've had all the cuts so far in this video. So you have to ask yourself, is that time worth it? And it is for a good friend. But if that friend is just stressing you out and all they want to do is complain all the time, you can be there for that person, but go ahead and give yourself limits. Like, I'm going to give this person an hour a week, or I'm going to give this person 30 minutes a week, whatever it is. Give them that time. You know, if you know somebody is just going to complain about everything, no matter what, but you still enjoy being with them, you just don't want to hear them complain, try this. Set a timer when you interact with them. Set a timer to go off. Doesn't matter what it says. And just say this. Just say this. I'm going to give this person 10 minutes to complain about whatever they want to complain about. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to nod my head. And then when that 10 minutes is up, we're going to start our conversation. And then I'll just do that. It works. Believe it or not, it works. Usually people just want to complain. And if you give them a minute, 2 minutes, it's done. But if you sit there and think to yourself, oh man, this person's always complaining, I don't even want to be around this person, then you can lose out on a great friend that just needs a couple of minutes of your time. So think to yourself, does that friend just need a few minutes of your time because there's nobody else in their life that they can complain to? Or are they really just sucking the life out of you? If they're sucking the life out of you, those are the people you remove. If it's just someone that needs a little bit of your time, you have to ask yourself, are they worth that time? You know, you go work for somebody for $9 an hour, $10 an hour, but would you give your friend $10 of your time? You know, if you make $30 an hour, $10 of your time is about, what, 20 minutes? Yeah. So would you give your friend 10 minutes of your time? Put a dollar amount on it. You'll figure it out. So then we go over to the social media side of it. And I know people that have gained great relationships on social media. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, long before social media was as big as it is now, this would have been back in the early 2000s, and in November of 2001. I know this because it was right after the 9/11 attacks, and I had a friend who was getting ordained or professing their vows into the Franciscan friars in Paterson, New Jersey. This is great. So I'm going to go to New York City. Never been there before. This is my one and only trip. I can't wait to go back. But I was ready to go to this really cool trip, and I didn't have any cash. I had like $100 in my pocket. This was it. I had a plane fare, and I had a friend that I met online back when I had a GeoCities website. If you don't know what GeoCities is, look it up. But we had GeoCities websites. And he was in New York. I was in Kansas City. We connected. And I said, yeah, I'm going to Kansas. I'm going to New York. I'm looking for a hostel to stay in. I'm just going to, I just need a night or two. And he said, no problem, man. I'll get you. I got you. So I show up at New York. My wife at the time, this is my ex-wife, but she's like, well, you don't even know this guy. You met him on the internet. What if he kills you? What if he takes you out into the woods and buries you? And I never hear from you again. And I said, nah, don't worry about it. I think this guy's pretty cool. So I fly into, I think it was LaGuardia. I can't even remember. It doesn't matter, but I fly in. And I'm waiting. I got his phone number, and he's not answering his phone. And I'm just waiting. And not for a long time, just like a few minutes. And I hope he watches this video. I will send this video to him. But because I would love to hear his perspective in the comments. Please, Johnny, please put your perspective in the comments. Anyway, so I'm sitting there on the, and you can, I think it was LaGuardia. Anyway, I'm sitting there on the curb. I got my bag. I'm ready. And all of a sudden, whoa, this car comes zooming up. He gets there. And as far as I know, he's a cool dude, right? So I see him, he gets out, I'm like, hey, oh, by the way, we met because we do ministry together, okay? We're both Catholic, we met through ministries in GeoCity. So we have this connection, okay? That was our connection. It wasn't just some random person I met on, like, you know, on the internet. It was, but it wasn't completely random. Anyway, so he gets out of his car, I see him, I say, hey, John, he goes, hey, Willie, how's it going? We give each other a hug, you know, that's cool. And he's like, yeah. And he opens the trunk. He reaches inside and he pulls out a shovel and a big old trash bag. And the only thing going through my mind is what my ex-wife said. What if he takes you out into the woods and just buries you? And I was like, okay, it's just a shovel and a bag. No big deal. And then Johnny looks me square in the eye and goes, don't worry, we won't be using these tonight. And I got in his car, and it was wonderful. And we have this friendship now that, you know, a long time now. It's a 21-year friendship now. It's pretty cool. And it all started because we met online. And then we ended up meeting later. But the thing is we had this connection online that was through our faith. It wasn't just because we were in the same chat room necessarily. It was because we had a faith that we shared. We had a voice, and we could do that. Now on social media, you have so many people in your friends list, fans list, and maybe if you've done this already, great. If you haven't, do this because it's wonderful. Just go through your friends list. If you've never met this person before, if they don't impact your life at all, like seriously, just remove them. If there's a question, remove them. Because if they're a great friend, you will search them back out. When I went through and cleaned up some stuff, I was dealing with a lot of things, so I went and cleaned up a lot of people, and I deleted friends that I just knew as acquaintances, and then realized later on that, well, I shouldn't have deleted them. I still want to know what they have to say. So I got to reach out to them again and say, hey, I deleted you. I was going through my time, and can I be your friend again? It creates this new thing with social media. Now, here is the danger. I used to not care. Before I did this, I didn't care what was on Facebook. I didn't care what I put out there because I really didn't care. It was just a bunch of people, random people. Now I do, because when I make a post, I know my family sees it. I know my closest friends see it. And I know that some of my friends disagree with me on politics, religion, whatever. So I have to think about what I post. But here's the thing. My opinion is still my opinion. So I shouldn't be scared to let my friends know what my opinion is. And nor should my friends be scared to say, hey, you're wrong. I think this. And that is what's called good communication. So if someone comes in and just start attacking me for whatever reason, because I post an opinion, for example, I'm very pro-life. I've always been pro-life. You can't probably ever convince me to be anything but pro-life. If a friend starts attacking me for being pro-life, I remove them. If a friend starts saying, you know, I get you're pro-life, I'm pro-choice because of this, I love having that conversation with them. I'm probably never going to change my mind because I 100% agree with the science that life begins at conception and that people shouldn't take other people's lives. That's another show. That's it. I just can't get past the life thing. Doesn't matter the circumstances. I just can't get past the life thing. So I choose to be that way. If someone doesn't like that about me and they think that I'm evil because of it, well, then they're not my friends if they think I'm evil. Because you can disagree with someone from a place of lack of experience or education, because I change my mind still. Have you changed your mind lately? So I guess that's the question. If your friends never change their mind and you do, are you changing your mind just to be with people that don't really like the real you? Or are you changing your mind because you're getting smarter and wiser? Everything boils down to that. You got to make mistakes to get wisdom. And we can't punish people for their mistakes. Until next time, work hard, be kind, and have fun.